the bus driver to his job. So
That's my secretary. She said,
yes, yes, I know.
yes, the bus. Just in Mexico, they have, well, I went on a business trip many years ago and they have these great big Mercedes buses. And they're so comfortable. And you just sit in these comfortable chairs and enjoy the ride.
Yeah,
Crazy drivers,
yes,
but even
right.
that's kind of fun.
But you really realize, I mean, yes, in Mexico is one of the places where you really realize, like, when you get in a cab or anywhere that someone else is driving, it's like this could be the end,
This
and I
could be
just gotta
it.
let it go because you don't know. It's like all bets are off.
Oh, it's just an amazing place. We were in Tijuana once, and there was a beautiful blue Mustang parked too close to a taxi, and the taxi couldn't get out. So the taxi driver rammed his car, and he rammed it, and he rammed it until the hood was
Oh
like,
my God.
and then he
Yeah,
drove
well,
off.
yep,
And then the guy came out, and he's looking at his car.
yep,
There's something in Mexico I love. I think it's the family relationship, the gentleness with children. There's something in central Mexico that is absolutely, and I suppose in Hispanic cultures that we don't have a word for. There's a gentleness and a quietness that I could live there with.
yeah, yep. I know what you're talking about. They,
Uh,
they seem more somehow like more accepting of where they're at. You
I
know what
think
I mean? They're
so.
more comfortable, whatever their circumstances. They seem to have more of a center than
Ah,
we have been trained to have.
I think so. I think
Yep.
so. I saw a young man and his shoes were wrapped in duct tape and old Levi's, and he had a little girl with him, skinny little girl, and she had braces on her teeth. And so she come up to me and she says something in Spanish, and her I asked her father, I said, what did she say? He said she wants to know where you're from. So I got down where she was. I said, I'm from California. And she said, oh. And then we talked back and forth, and I fell in love with him.
Mhm.
Braces are
Yep.
less expensive in Mexico, but still they're pricey. So I think this father who had duct taped his shoes
Right.
gave his daughter braces because that was
Yep.
important to him.
Yep.
I thought, and that was over and over and over again in my trips. I didn't do anything business wise, but I enjoyed the people so much. In Oaxaca, I fell in love with two young Oaxacan ladies selling grasshoppers. I said, "Do you eat those?" And yeah. So I said, "Give me two," and I gave her something, and I put them in my mouth, started chewing.
How were they?
Oh, it will just exactly like you'd think. Oh, you beat the abdominal part and it pops, and then the front part, that brown secretion they have. Oh, it was
Yeah.
awful. So
Yeah.
I try not to be rude and spit them out. And so I swallowed them. And so they were laughing so hard, and I was laughing so hard. It
Yeah.
was one of those moments. And I had so many of those.
Yep.
I just fell in love with the country.
Yep.
I fall in love here now.
Yes, it's life is that way. I
Oh,
mean, it's I love love. I said that.
I love love.
Yep.
Yeah, I talk a lot about love. I finally concluded I don't think it's undoubtedly true, but life as a human would be too hard without it. We
Yeah.
love too deeply.
Yep. There
We
is something that happens, that connection and that feeling. And if you can get out of your own way,
uh
let it happen, it's profound, right?
oh God, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my life would be too hard without it.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's would, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Whenever I see your name, I think of that day looking in that crowded coffee shop, and I thought, well, where are
I have
they?
the shoes.
Oh my God.
I have them sitting on
Oh,
my bookshelf because I love them so
of
much.
course.
I have them displayed.
Yeah,
So when I'm doing my work, I can look over and go, oh, yeah, well, whatever's going on, I still have these blue
I
shoes.
still have my shoes. Yes.
Exactly.
Oh my God. You're in pristine condition, it looks too. Uh, I was going to say, don't, if you're ever in a bar fight, say, oh, wait a minute, I have to take my shoes off.
Right. They're hefty too. I could actually use them as a weapon.
Yeah, yeah.
They're
Oh God.
multi-purpose.
I think of them as I know they aren't cheap. And the love that Kevin had for you is it's all
Well,
tied
you
in.
know the story of that is that I went and did some training somewhere and I met a woman who had that brand of shoes and I fell in love with the shoes. But I was in no financial
Yeah.
shape to make sense to buy the shoes. And I was in visiting a friend in Palm Springs and I was driving home and it was my birthday and I said out loud, I don't know how and I don't know when, but one day I'm going to get a pair of those shoes. And I came home and Kevin wasn't home, but there was a orchid and there were cupcakes and there
Oh,
was a wrapped box. And I didn't obviously do anything, because it was my birthday and I waited for him to come home. And
oh,
he walked in and he said, you can open your presents. And it was the shoes. I mean, I manifested those suckers. Well, the universe, dropped those in my lap. It was probably within 2 hours of
oh
me
God.
saying,
Oh
I'm going to
God.
one of these, I had no expectations, but I think that, there's something that we play with here that when you set an intention and just let yourself be surprised, life loves to delight us. That's what I find.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know, but I love the love. I love the
Yeah.
fact that he was considerate enough and caring enough to do that. It thrills me.
Yeah.
Um, and I fell in love with him too. I could see why you fell in. Just in 10 or 15 minutes after we met, I thought, oh my God, I can see why she loves him. He's so gentle and kind and
He is. And he
puts up
drives
with,
me crazy, but he is gentle.
of course he does. That's
Of course he
marriage.
does.
Oh,
You know what he does all day long, Michael? He sings to me. It took me a long time to figure this out. He sings love songs.
of
Like
course.
all of a sudden out of the other room, I'll just start hearing like, singing. And then I've finally started to tune into it. It took me a couple years and I was like, every song is a love song.
He's loving. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
Hmm.
my God.
Yeah.
What a jewel.
Yes.
Oh, as you are, Kim. We
Well,
can't
thank
see
you.
ourselves, but
Yes.
other people can give us hints of
Yeah.
how
Well,
wonderful we are, of how
yes. Hmm.
I saw you as a lady on fire, just just busting out with life and love and spontaneity and living in this momentous moment. And that image stays with me. It's who you are to me. Whenever I see your name, and there'll be long periods when I don't see your name, but when it pops up, I think, oh, yeah, all of that mixed in with blue shoes and Kevin,
Yes. Yes.
putting up with you coming to Cambria and seeing an old man. Ah,
He thought we were going to meet with coloring book people. He just didn't even listen to well, I couldn't have explained it to him anyway, right? How would I explain who you
yeah, yeah,
people were? And yeah, he had no idea. So he just went along with it and he was fine with it. And, he was
he
fine with
was, he
it.
was, he
Mhm.
was listening to the conversation, and
Yeah.
he asked very politely. He said, "Are you a teacher?" I said, "Oh no." And, but he was trying to figure out too. He was
Right, right. Yeah.
uh, testing the waters of your world. He's just so damn special.
He is. And he has so many people love him. I've never
Oh,
met anybody who like everybody loves him, children, dogs, adults, and he has so many friends. And so we moved about 6 years ago and we had to call on help for people and he had to turn people away over
ah,
2 days. We had over like 40 people that wanted to help. I don't know if I could get
oh,
40 people coming to help me move. I mean, that's a tough job.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's rare people like that
Yeah.
uh, that every tribe needs.
Yeah.
Every tribe needs their Kevin.
Yeah,
Um,
we do.
they need the young warrior who's willing to go out and risk his life for the tribe. They need the bread maker, the fire starter, um, the balance of a tribe. I could see why people gravitate to him. I could
Hmm.
see why people fall in love with you.
Hmm.
Um, there's something so pleasant in your company.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I do seem to run into I just went on a trip with my sister and she kept saying, I can't believe how wonderful this trip has been. And finally her husband said, well, the only difference is Kim is with us. And I'm like, well, I'm not taking, credit for any of this, but I go into everything thinking I'm going to meet delightful people and have
mm,
wonderful interactions. I mean, it's
oh,
amazing. I hear all these stories of other people having all these difficult, and I fall in love with people in the grocery store. I mean, in line.
God, yes.
Yes,
Me
it's
too.
like just the other day I came home and Kevin said, well, why'd you get this? I said, well, this woman was holding the box in her hand and she was looking at it reverently. So I struck up a conversation. Then she convinced me to get the cheese and then she told me to get some other stuff. He said, did she work there? I said, no, she was just a customer, but we had a moment.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Now those moments where I can, we stay a lot at home. We're quite old now, 81, and my wife is close to 80. So, when we do go out, I I sometimes have a heart and hand with me, and I fall in love with people, and if I have one, I'll give it to them. And
I have mine sitting
if
here.
I if, if I see an old man with a beard, you're looking for something.
I was looking for your heart and hand. It's
Oh, you
around here.
sweetheart.
It's around here somewhere. It's on
You,
this shelf. I've got a big shelving unit right here. I don't know if I can stand up
no
and show.
worries.
It's there.
You're well. Um, but everyone I see, I saw a young man walking with a dog. He had a beard and looked kind of scruffy and was kind of in his own world. And I said, "That's a beautiful dog." He said, "Well, thank you." And I said, the dog was watching me, like keeping his eye really sharp on me, like, partly German Shepherd like dog. And I said, "Is it all right?" I knew. I said, "I see the dog's protecting you." He said, "Yeah, she does that." I said, and he was standing like 6 feet away from me with the dog, just watching me. And I said, "Could I pet the dog?" He said, he looked at her and he said, "He's all right." And she dropped her ears
Oh, wow.
and came wiggling up to me. And I fell in love with him and his dog. I
Hmm.
wanted to know if he had children to see how the dog relates with them and protects them. I said, "Do you have children?" He said, "No, this is my child." I said, "Oh." I said, "She's quite lovely." And then I fell in love with him.
Hmm.
Because he's with me still, like
Hmm.
you. Um, my Kim is with me,
Hmm.
part of who I am. He is part of me. If I
Yep.
see an elderly man with a beard, I'll say, "That's a nice beard." He'll say, "Well, thank you." Say something like, "Can I have it?" He'll say, I'll say, "Can I have it? I would look good in that," or something like that.
Hmm.
And then a conversation comes, and
Hmm.
um, some old guy will be walking by with a cane, and I'll say, "How you doing?" He says, "I'm good." And I'll say, "You want to wrestle?" And sometimes it catches him. It opens the door.
Right, right. Yes.
All it takes is that door
Hmm.
to open. And
Hmm.
some of them will say, "Yeah, I do." So then we start. And oh my God. An old cowboy in an old pickup was sitting next to me in the cowboy hat. And I tapped on the window. He was in his own world. And I rolled it down and I said, "Are you going to fight if I try to take your hat?" He said, "You bet I am." I said, "Well, step out of the car, mister, because I want that hat." And so he steps out of his car and we square off like men do. And then we started laughing. He was a rancher, and I told him about my life in Wyoming. And he says, "I have 140 head over the hill." He said, "If you ever need work, you come and see me." I said, "I will." And he came to live with me. And I know you have 1,000 stories like that.
Yes. Yes. People are just
Ellie.
wonderful. And just like I've made friend, like you've had this happen too, where you're on an airplane and you get the person next to you, and then it's like your best friends, and then
Oh,
you never see him again. And it's like, oh, you're hugging. I mean, I'm
yeah,
hugging there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They're telling me their life story and I'm listening, and
Fascinating. Yeah.
it's just, and then you just never see him again.
Yeah.
I had a man follow me onto an airplane. It wasn't
Uh-huh.
even his flight.
Yeah.
He started talking to me in the waiting area, and just, you know, he he was going through a hard time, and I just was like
Oh,
the person, right? And so he walked me to my seat, finished and I, gave him a hug or something. And I'm like,
Hmm.
well, that was the first that he's one actually followed me onto an airplane.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me. Once the door is open, people want
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
When
Well,
I
they
was,
don't, people don't, well, it's like, I don't know, there's a difference, right? Most people are closed in and closed down and afraid of
of
everybody
course,
and
of
all
course.
that. And it's like, there, I mean, I just go into it seeing, as Byron Katie said to me one time, go forward and meet your beautiful self. He's like,
Oh,
I look for all my beautiful selves all over the place.
truly.
Yes.
That's all we can see really is glimpses of our own wonderfulness
Yes.
in other people.
Yeah.
That's the gift of aloneness, I think, is getting glimpses of how beautiful it is to be human and how hard it is.
Mm-hmm.
How
Mm-hmm.
heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I met a lady, my wife has trouble walking, so we have a scooter in the back of our car and it goes down on an electrical device and she can ride around on it. And an elderly lady came up to me. She said, "That is so wonderful." I said, "Isn't it?" I said, "It's so nice for my wife." And she said, "You know, I had a daughter who had spina bifida, and we traveled the world together, and I carried her on my back." And she said she saw Angel Falls in South America, and we went to Machu Picchu, which is a
Wow.
hard trek. And she was telling me of the places she went with this daughter. And I just fell in love with her.
Mm-hmm.
Even now, I'm in love with her. The hard, and as she was leaving, I said she had a wonderful, she, of course, had died. I said she had a wonderful mother.
Mm-hmm.
She turned around and she said, "Oh, thank you." I don't think she saw herself as wonderful.
No, we forget. I
Hmm.
mean, I surprise myself all the time when I think back. I'm like, the mind, well, the mind likes to take you on a trip and then it kind
Hmm.
of hides the highlights that are the good highlight reel. And so
Hmm.
you forget. And I have to sit, I often sit and think, you know, I'm amazing. I'm amazing.
Oh,
I am amazing. But I have to remind myself,
mhm. You're one of a kind. Nothing has ever been remotely like you, and
no,
nothing will ever be like you again.
exactly. And that goes
Yeah.
for all of us. But I mean, I just, I rarely am in a down mood. I rarely am. I mean, I have my moments, right? We all do, but um, I'm pretty much always here. I'm not forward and I'm not backwards. So, but sometimes I need to be reminded of what I've how I got from here to there
Hmm.
and
How
just and
hard to,
acknowledge it, right?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's been quite a journey. I'm not I wouldn't, it's like it's been a crazy life.
Yeah, I was a practicing alcoholic for from 16 or 17 till I was 29.
Yeah,
And I've heard stories, some of which I don't believe, of course,
right.
but it was crazy.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, Crazy.
yeah.
But I wouldn't trade a moment of it. And
No, no,
not,
I wouldn't trade a moment. Michael, I got involved with a woman who was like a cult leader 15 years ago. Oh, here comes Kevin. You come in and say hi?
hey, hey, you beauty. Oh, he's gotten even more beautiful. I like,
We're
look
with
at
age
this.
coming up. How
Oh
you
my
doing, Michael?
God, I am
Staying
incredible.
staying in the pocket?
Staying in the pocket. I've told so many stories about the pocket.
It's good sound advice for life.
It
Yeah.
is. Stay in the pocket. I think you have to be a musician, practicing musician to really feel that, to
Yeah.
dissolve into the soldiers do it in a group of 10 or 12 or whatever a squad is. They feel like one unit. And a
hmm
musician, when you hit the pocket, must be bliss.
It is because everything flows so smoothly because
Oh,
everybody is in sync. All minds are connected.
oh,
And then you get that look at each other going, wow, we're really doing this.
oh yeah. I see musicians smile at each other.
Yeah.
They'll
Like they're
smile at
there.
the drummer and they smile back and they think, oh, they're in the pocket.
Yeah.
Uh, I've never experienced that. I wish I could, but
I'm sure you have on different levels and
Yeah,
different.
in different ways.
I suppose in these group meetings, I feel this incredible rush. I call it a heart rush. A few times I smoked marijuana, I did like that rush you get, but it feels like that, like a heart rush.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, and my fingers tingle, they're tingling now. Um, somebody says, "Oh, that's just neuropathy." I said, "No, they're
Hey,
tingling."
yes, whatever you make it what it works for you.
Ah, you love, yeah.
Yeah. At our age, we take all those with as a little blessing.
Oh, I do, and I even give them out sometimes. They're like sparkles, I call them.
Yeah, there you
Oh,
Yeah.
go.
The ladies at the post office need them sometimes. They'll say, "Come here, Sally Michael's here. Yeah, give Sally some sparkles." I say, "Can you feel them, Sally? I'm feeling them." She says, "I can feel them."
well,
Hey,
that's in the pocket.
energy's energy. Energy's
That's the
energy.
pocket. You're right.
Yeah.
But
Well,
to be like in a Dixieland jazz thing where they're all playing their own thing,
oh yeah.
oh my God, that must be big pocket.
And what's really fantastic is when Micah Dixieland's a fantastic example of it because everybody takes off into a different direction, and
Oh,
all of a sudden everything
It
just at the same
coalesces.
time falls back into line and they carry
oh
on.
God. Yeah, and they can't do a record of it because it's a spontaneous
Yeah,
creation.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly it.
Oh my God.
And
And
you
he gets it.
and you can't mimic it on a computer when you're
Oh, of course not.
No.
No, it
Mm-mm.
just arises.
Got to be the soul.
It
because it's not
Everyone.
about being on time. It's not about it's because the computer's too perfect. I mean, you have to have the human element in there to be able to.
Hmm.
Sometimes the offbeat is better than having it perfectly on beat because,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's where, and when you can do that and have other people tune in and they're knowing they're going to the same offbeat,
Oh my
you
God.
know you're really in sync.
Oh, and to be a musician and see that in actually experience as a musician. I kind of even I don't know anything about music, but I can see your world is so wonderful. So well, that's why you're such a brilliant, beautiful, wonderful person to be around. Is
Oh,
this
well, most of the time. I mean,
You
Kim's got
drive.
some stories,
No, you're driving nuts, but I love you
ah,
anyway.
ah, ah.
but I try.
You do
Oh, you
drive me
beauty.
nuts.
So good to see you.
Well, it's good to see you too. I'll let you guys get back at it. Kim's got me slaving on the Christmas tree. I'm hanging my Beatles ornaments.
Nice.
Mm.
Oh,
I've got all their guitars too to match. So I have a
oh,
like
how
a
wonderful.
like for a Paul McCartney. I have the little
Oh,
violin vase to hang there too. And so,
how wonderful is that? I met a man named James Strauss, whose daughter is one of the main guitar players for some major band. When she's on stage, blonde hair is flying. But he played with the Beatles for a while.
oh wow.
He told me that he was high with George Harrison one time, and George says, "James, what was what were the Beatles like?" And he didn't know quite what he meant, but he says, "Oh, George, you were wonderful." And George Harris is one of the few people on earth who don't know what the Beatles are like.
Yeah, any of the
Right,
Beatles because they've never
right. They
experienced
can't get
themselves.
They've,
outside. Right. We can't see ourselves or
Uh,
hear ourselves.
oh,
for to
It's
them, they're just
amazing.
a bunch of blokes from Liverpool hanging around and writing songs.
amazed that they're in America
Yeah.
Yeah.
that and all the girls are screaming at
Right.
them. It's so beautiful.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Michael, you guys have a wonderful conversation, and who knows, maybe in the future we'll be able to see each other before too long.
Oh, I would
Be
love
great.
that. I would love that. I
Right.
love you, Kevin.
Thanks,
All right.
honey.
What a sweetheart.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
I like
You want to shut the door? Just so you know.
the beard has changed. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
no, he grew a beard. Hmm.
Yeah, well, he had did he
He
have a
had like the little soul
no?
patch
He had
thing.
long hair. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
longer hair, probably the
Oh,
soul
the
patch thing.
beard
Yeah.
is beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful
He
man.
looks good. He's a good guy. I
Oh,
lucked out. I lucked out. He was so I met a woman who was like a cult leader, and
mm,
I ended up leaving. Like, okay, I had to do this. I
mm.
mean, it was part of life's plan, but it took me a long time to get my head wrapped around it. So it was about 15 years ago. And it ended up being that I left everything behind. Like I walked away from my former life, left a husband, left 99% of my possessions, left my job, almost left my sanity,
Mm.
ended up giving her every cent I had and then some,
Mm.
and went on the road. And we were helping people, but it really, she's a artist, and to be kind, she's a con artist, because she took a lot of people's money and nobody got anything back, and we never will.
Mm.
So, um, but it put me on, and I've already like had an awakening with Byron Katie years before this. And of course, this one was kind of a spiritual lady and whatever. So it put me on a completely different trajectory of my life. And every day, even today, I went for a walk. We live in the foothills of the Angeles Crest National Forest, and
Mm.
I am blown away every day. We lived here now for 6 years, and I walk outside and I'm just like, how did this happen to me? How did I end up here? It was like life picked me up, took me out of everything my really safe, it was fine life that I was living, and dropped me in a completely different spot. And to the point where I ended up in a stranger's house. Like I kind of knew them. I met them when we were in Santa Cruz doing work there with people, homeless people and other people. And this guy kind of took a liking to me. And so he invited me to his house where he lived with his mother. And I woke up, I was staying overnight, and I woke up in the guest bedroom, and I thought, and the woman had run out. She had run out of town and left me with strangers. And I had $10 to my name. Isn't this a good story? And
Oh,
I woke up and I looked around this room in this house, and I had nothing, and I had no car, nothing. I had a backpack with some clothes in it. And I said, honestly, the first words out of my mouth were, well, heaven looks different than I expected. True story. True story. Because I
yeah.
was still cognizant of the fact, like, this is scary, but this is obviously, I'm meant to be here because I'm here.
Mm.
So yeah, heaven looked different than I expected. And I ended up staying with those people for 4 months. And then my family was very worried about me. I'm the oldest of seven with four sisters, and I had two
Oh.
brothers, one passed. But they were like, where is she? She's dropped off the map. We couldn't find her. And I finally called the sister and I said, can I come? And she said, yes, come. And so she got me a ticket, and I went to Iowa. And then that was another whole trajectory of being back immersed with my family. I got to know my family and nieces and nephews in ways I would have never
Oh.
because I didn't live there. And I helped a niece and her friends get off heroin. And I mean, it was just an amazing thing. And then I went back to stay with the crazy people because that was a whole other story. But I ended up having to run from them because he was truly crazy. The man was. I mean, he threatened to kill me and
Oh.
people. So yes, I'm. It's like blah. But I ended up driving back and forth by myself with my two little dogs four and a half times across the country from New York to California. Just
Mm.
I lived this crazy existence, and then finally in 2014, I was back with this crazy lady again, and we came out to California, and she told me to go on a dating app and see if anyone was out there, and I found Kevin on day 5.
Oh.
I didn't even have to pay for it. I found him on the trial version.
Yeah. 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 Honey,
So
I
2 days,
found you on the trial.
yes, yes. 2 days after we got here, we went on our first date, and we've been together ever since.
Oh.
And the crazy lady, of course, she got me an apartment. I got evicted. Kevin had to take me in,
Oh.
and my two old elderly dogs. And I mean,
Oh.
and honestly, throughout this, I mean, it was a big shock. I wasn't in the best mental shape. I mean, I really wasn't. When I was living with my sister, she was working at home, and sometimes she'd have to leave the house, and she would come to the room I was in and say, will you be here when I get back? Will
Oh.
you be alive when I get back?
Yeah.
Because I was laying in the bed crying because I didn't know what happened to me. I mean,
Oh.
but I was still accepting of it. But I still, the mind, I mean, that's when I Googled, who am I? And I'm telling you, Google doesn't know.
No, no, no.
I mean, I was just trying to put all the pieces together and um yeah, it just was I mean, I remember walking downstairs one day and said to my sister, "Am I crazy? Am I crazy? Please tell me." And you know what she said? She said, "No." I said, "How do you know? How do you know? Please tell me how you know." She said, "You know how I know? Crazy people don't ask if they're crazy."
Hmm.
And I was like, and that landed. And I was like, okay, I'm not crazy. She's like, "You're not crazy. You're going through a huge shift." And
Mm.
and this is a sister who just took me to Italy on a all expenses 2 weeks paid in Italy. I mean, she's a
Oh,
wonderful sister. And her
oh,
husband works for a very high powered company and he has to travel all the time. And she said, "I want to go with him, but I don't want to go with him when because he's working all day long. So I'm going to get you a passport, Kim, and you can come with me on the trips that I
mm.
want to go on." So
Oh,
it was remarkable. I spent $10.48 over 2 weeks. She wouldn't even let me buy a bottle of water.
oh my.
Yeah, and she tells me over and over again, "Don't you ever worry. I never want you to worry, and I always have your back." And
Oh my God.
I might that is true love. It's a true love story between me and that sister.
Oh.
And we don't agree on some, I mean, we fight. We don't
Mm,
agree. And she's very feisty. And
mm.
but it always comes down to we always end up saying, "You know what? It doesn't matter if we don't agree. And if you think I'm crazy or I think you're crazy, at the bottom of the line, we love each other and we're there for each other."
Beautiful.
Yeah, it is. So that's what I'm saying. It's like this, none of this would have happened had I not gone off with the person, I call her the gypsy.
Uh,
And the whole way I even ended up doing that was I was I'm a Reiki person, so I was trying to build my Reiki business. I was doing networking. I met a woman and she called me up one night and said, "Do you want to go to this thing?" She had also given me a book called The Unmistakable Touch of Grace, which I came home for lunch that day that she called and I saw the book on the floor and I thought I either have to read it or give it back to her. I read a little bit of it. There was something in there that said, "Grace is all around us. Set an intention to see grace and blah, 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 blah." And you'll see it. Maybe you'll drive by a church or it'll be on a bumper sticker. You'll meet someone named Grace, whatever. I'm like, okay, I'm game. I like these fun little fun little games. I'll do it. Nothing happened. And that woman called and said, "I'm going to this thing tonight with the gypsy. Would you like to come along?" And I thought, no, I'm not going. I've been with Byron Katie. I don't need to do this, blah, blah. And then I literally heard in my mind, "Just go." It was loud and clear. And I was like, well, I guess I will go. And as I
mm.
walked out the door, my ex-husband said something wise. He said, "Be careful because you know yourself. You don't just open a window half part of the way, you open it all the way." And I said, "Yeah, yeah, I know." And then that started me on this whole journey. And here I am now talking to you.
Here you are. I know. It seems we have to go through hell to get to heaven.
It's amazing. And
Uh,
it's like I tell people because people who know my story, I mean, that gypsy left me in like six-figure debt.
mhm.
So but I mean, I have people who say, "You're like the wealthiest person I know." I said, I know it. I lack for nothing. And I don't have a lot and I don't want to have a lot, but I am like, I'm so blessed. I'm
Yeah.
so blessed and I'm
Yeah.
so lucky. I mean, this is my a core belief about this being.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Almost, I can feel that almost.
Yes.
Our
Yeah,
life
I
is
mean, and
very
it's a story. It's all a story,
just,
but
oh yeah, yeah.
as Byron Katie says, keep the good ones. Why not just keep the stories that make you happy? And that one makes me happy.
Makes you happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what else happened to me during this time? So, I mean, I was scared to death to have to drive across the country. I came across the country in winter, crossing the mountains in a 2001 Honda Civic
Oh.
with just enough money to get across the country and stay at Motel Sixes with my little
Mm,
dogs,
mm.
just praying that nothing would happen. Because out in Wyoming, there's no cell phone coverage,
No,
many parts of
no.
that journey. So made it, and then I I didn't drive for 2 weeks because I was like, oh, I don't love driving that much. And but I went out to get in my car and I went to look, put something in the cup holder, and there was a dime and a penny. And I thought, I surely did not drive across the country with a dime and a penny rattling in the cup
Hmm.
holder. Dimes and pennies, Michael, have started showing up like crazy. I mean, what this showed me is that whatever is the animating force of this whole thing can pop things into your existence with almost in front of your face, because it became like I would put on a jacket, reach in the pocket, dime and a penny. Put a
Hmm.
load of laundry in the washer, go to take it out, dime and a penny. I mean, walking one time with the guy I was living with, we're walking. I look down, there's a dime in front of me stuck in the tar and a penny in front of him stuck in the tar.
Hmm.
I mean, it over and over again. And Kevin has heard me talk about this. And one day he came running in from the garage. He said, open your hands, open your hands. And I opened my hands. He dropped a dime and a penny. And I said, where'd that come from? He said, my toolkit. He said, I have no idea how that got in there. And
Hmm.
he's seen me find, like, I'll all of a sudden see a penny and I'll be like, well, where there's a penny, there's going to be a dime. And then two steps, oh, there's the dime.
Oh
I have probably $15 in dimes and pennies.
my
I keep them
God.
all. I put them in a little
Oh,
penny.
sure, sure.
I mean, they pop in everywhere. And when I least expect it, and it just makes me feel like, oh yes, I love that.
It it is fun knowing that we can never understand anything. It's
Yes.
fun knowing that no one ever has or ever
Mm,
will.
no.
One knows more about this than you. No one knows anything.
No. It's
I
so
love that.
freeing.
I love the freedom of it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Our life is so similar, and we lost everything. I was drinking, and we had three successful businesses, and partners don't ever have partners.
Yes. Yeah.
We went flat broke,
Mm-hmm.
lost everything.
Mm-hmm.
And asked my wife, I said, well, where do you want to live? Because they took our house too.
Yeah.
And she said, I don't know. I don't care. I said, what about Big Bear? She,
I love
because
Big Bear.
I grew up in the snow in Wyoming. She said, okay. So we had three kids and a crazy cat that I hated. We loved the kids, hated
Right.
adults. We took off to Big Bear, and our life, I quit drinking and smoking, and I raked yards, and my wife cleaned houses, and we had the most wonderful life.
Mm-hmm.
And out of that, we've spun up to a place where we opened stores, and we sold them and moved opened stores in Big Bear, and then we sold them, moved to Cambria, and opened a couple of stores
Yeah.
here. And my son came, he was a mechanical engineer who hated it, and he opened a store, and he's retired now and very well set for the future. And so
Oh,
are
good.
we. And I look at my life, and it's like an old soldier who has
Mm-hmm.
been wounded and broken and shot and beaten up and recuperated into this wonderful mystery.
Yes.
Um, I come across people like you and Kevin, um, that astound me in your beauty, in your caring for each other, in your openness and honesty and fearlessness. Um, I love it. And I have enough health issues where I mentioned in the last meeting, I can hear the curtains closing, and that's all right too.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I I have four grandkids that I adore. They're all
Mm-hmm.
so different and all so
Yeah.
beautiful. You were talking about your sister. When my son was growing up, I'd hold his face in my hands and say, I love you. I will always love you. I will always be here for you. If you call me ever at 3 o'clock in the morning, I will come, no questions asked.
Yep.
I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you rob
Right.
bank. I'll always be here for you.
Yes.
And even when he was a teenager, I'd say, come here, I have to tell you. He said, Dad, I know. I said, no, I have to tell you.
Yep.
And he treats his children with that
Yeah.
adoration.
Yeah.
And and their children will be treated with the same.
Mm-hmm. That's a beautiful blessing, though.
Oh,
Just like it's rolling downhill and it just, it just
rolling
keeps going.
downhill.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my
Mhm.
God, that's beautiful, Kim. Um, I love you. I love
I
Kevin.
love you too.
Uh, it's fun to say that. It's fun. I will tell people how special they are and will sometimes say I love you to them.
Hmm.
And I've never been rebuffed. I've never been
No.
um, people are so isolated in their world.
Hmm.
And if you just open the crack, the tiniest crack, the light pours out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a reflection of our own
Of
beauty.
course. Of course. Meeting our
Mhm.
own beautiful selves. I'm looking at my own beautiful self right here.
I know, me too. Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
That's what I love. That's like when I walk outside and I see the mountains and I'm like, whoa.
Mm.
I mean, it does not get old for me.
No.
6 years, I walk out and I'm like, I just am amazed. I get goosebumps just
No.
going for a walk and just thinking, oh, how did this happen? It's just, I
Uh,
know how it happened, but how did it? It's just,
how did it
it's the
really happen?
mystery. It's all of that. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
My wife is very much like Kevin. Always, she never says anything bad about people. Never. I bought some pepper spray for her in case, and she's almost never alone. Never now that if as long as I can move, she won't be in her driving. And
Right.
some time ago, I bought her some pepper spray. So I'm looking at the pepper spray the other day, and I said she was waiting for a guy to go through a green light, and I said, "Give him a honk." She said, "No, no, he's all right." I said, "Honk at him. I want him to come over to the car so I can pepper spray him." She said, "Why would you do that?"
Yeah, that's a good
I don't
question.
know, because I'm a man, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. I mean, it's like your post about the toilet paper roll being the wrong way. It's funny. I mean, it is funny. The mind is hilarious. The mind is hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, the crap it thinks is important. It's like, but we all are this way. I mean, I have preferences. I have
Yeah.
preferences. I do. And I
Yeah.
remember Byron Katie talking about, well, she's like, I prefer vanilla ice cream.
Yeah.
And it's like, well,
Yeah.
someone said, well, what if you get chocolate? Well, she's like, well, then that's my day that I'm having chocolate. Or
Yeah.
I might ask, I don't want chocolate. I'd like to have vanilla. I mean,
He's so cute.
it's like everyone wanted to put her on a pedestal, but she's just as human as anybody else.
Of course. Of course.
Yes.
Yeah, I love her. I never have met her. She's a cute little thing.
Yeah.
You remind me of a lot of what I think Byron Katie would be like. Um, Fiery and full of life and open and honest and free. I've read just one of her books, and she lives in Barstow, which I don't understand.
Yeah. She's in Ojai now. She lives
Oh,
in Ojai
she.
now. Yeah.
Oh,
She's lived
God.
there for quite a long time.
I've
Yeah.
had jobs in Barstow before. I
Yeah.
hate
No, it's
Barstow.
kind of terrible there.
Oh,
It's,
God.
I mean, I don't want to go anywhere where I can burn my feet on the sidewalk.
No.
Walking across something, I'm like, no, I prefer not to do that.
Yeah, that's the
Oh,
one. Oh, my God.
yeah, Byron
Oh,
Katie,
hi. Yeah.
yeah, she's fun. She's
Uh,
interesting. I did her school, then I staffed a school. Then the last time I saw her was after that I went to Kripalu for another thing, and at the end I grabbed her second in command or whatever, and I'm like, can I talk to Katie? And Katie came out and I said, I hated that last school. I had a terrible experience. And maybe you don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but
good.
I laid it
Good.
out for her. And she said, in typical Katie fashion, she said, oh, sweetheart, I had no idea that was happening. And, had you not told me, I wouldn't have known. And then I
No.
never saw her again because I felt like, all right, we went full circle
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
didn't have to see her again. I still love her though.
Yeah, of
I still
course.
love her, but I really love Jed McKenna. I read his books
I
over and over.
did. I read everything he wrote, but I
He
didn't finish
cracks
the
me
play.
up.
Yeah, he does me too. Although even now, they all seem like dust in my mouth. I want this. I want the aliveness. I want the
Yes.
spontaneity. I
Yeah.
want the pocket.
Yeah.
Um, I think written words can point to this, but this is it. This is as close as we can ever get.
Yeah, I think so too. But
Yeah.
sometimes I just like to pick up Jed and just read, and I just find myself cracking
Yeah,
up. I
he's
mean,
funny.
well, and he's a smart ass too,
Oh,
so I
yeah.
like his
Yeah.
writing style. But he's got the one book, I think it's Spiritual Warfare, and where the woman comes and she went through something very similar to what I went through with the whole gypsy
Mm.
situation. So I could really relate to that, and I enjoyed that. It made me feel like, okay, well, this does happen to people. I mean, I knew that. But my favorite part of the whole time was when I woke up and said, Heaven looks different than I expected.
You should write that book.
That's what it is. My sister keeps telling me, all my sisters tell me, you need to write a book. And I'm like, that's going to be the title of it.
Of course.
Heaven looked different than I expected. And it
Heaven
really
is
did.
different than I expected.
Yep,
That's
really
true.
did.
Oh yeah, it would be a beautiful book. So many people. Life beats everyone up.
Yeah, it does.
I see heroes everywhere I walk.
Hmm.
It isn't that life is indifferent. It doesn't even know we're here.
No.
It can't hear our voice. But life is hard for every living organism. It's hard to survive.
Hmm.
And for humans, it's the hardest job in the world because we live in this paper dragon world where everything is imaginary. It's
Right.
a conceptual overlay that we
Yes.
live in, and it's hard. We lose people we love. Um, any moment, anything can
Mhm.
happen.
I know. I say that to Kevin all the time, and he's like, okay. I'm like, we don't know. I am always like, we don't know. There's no guarantee we're making it through today.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Kevin's like, not me. I'm living to be like 120. I'm like, fuck that. I'm like, it's not Hotel California. If you check in, you are checking out.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah,
guarantee.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he thinks
Smart
I'm a
job.
little nuts sometimes, and that's all right too.
Oh, yeah. I never, this stuff never, I never talk about this stuff to my wife. She's just not interested. But
No.
all the years she supported me, I used to go to LA from Big Bear and we didn't have any money. If a guru du jour was there, I would say, honey,
Right.
can we go see this guy or this lady? And she said, okay. So we'd troop down and she'd sit through all that stuff. Always loved me and supported me. We couldn't afford to buy books, but
Hmm.
there was a stream of them coming in.
Yeah.
I loved Carlos Castaneda and Don Juan. Um, I got involved in all the Seth books and the power of
No.
create your own reality stuff for
Yes. Yes.
years
Oh
and
God. Yeah.
years. I
Yeah.
got into out of body experiences and played with that. I had so much fun doing that. It's so real. I
Hmm.
can't believe it. But then I dawned on me that it's all in this brain, this beautiful
Yeah.
creative brain is so magnificent. It's the best, most complicated,
Yes.
never understand. It's too
Yes.
complicated for it to understand itself.
Right. Well, like those Nova
And
specials that
life
I sent
goes
you.
on. Yeah,
What was it? Perception, deception, and something about you're not in control. The brain yeah. I
yeah.
love those. I watch those every once in a while again because I'm like, even though I know, but I'm like, it's just fun, right? It's just fun to hear somebody else's
Oh,
like a scientific perspective on it to explain it all.
oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
still read those. I had quite a few books on the book and the brain and the evolution of consciousness, the evolution of the brain and language. There's so much literature out there. Uh, you get to a point with people like Daniel Dennett and that are really far out there, Thomas Metzinger and who else? Some of them are it's too hazy for me.
Hmm.
But I love, well, now I don't read anything. I like, what do I like, I like watching YouTube, that show where he says he likes to watch TV, Peter Sellers.
Oh, yeah, being there.
Yeah, being there.
Being there. That's a great movie.
Ah,
Yes. And everyone thinks he's a genius, which he is, really. But
yeah. He said that was the closest he ever got to the person he thought he was
yeah,
played that role.
yes.
Well, I like to watch TV.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I love birds are flying down Strawberry Canyon.
Oh, nice.
Yes. I see light on the ocean. Oh, no,
Um,
Harvey, um, Harvey and who's it? Orville and Harvey? Harvey and
the Wright brothers?
no, oh no,
Like,
that's Taylor. Yeah, I was thinking of the heavy set fellow and the skinny fellow who were
oh,
slap.
Oliver and Hardy.
Yeah, Oliver sees the ocean for the first time. He says, "God, it's so big," and Hardy says, Hardy says, "That's just the top." That thing, that always aha moments of looking out into this vastness. I just love it. And somehow I get to talk to Kim and the signal goes up to a satellite,
I know.
back down.
I know. I know.
Ah,
I mean, it's so funny because we all do this, right? We get on our computer or our phone or something, and we're like, "Wow, what's going on?" And then it's like, I
yeah,
do stop and think, well, it does have to go all the way to outer space, ping back
yeah,
down, and hit me.
yeah.
I'm like, calm down.
Calm down. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those aha moments, the shock of reawakening every moment into this mystery of simply being. I love. It's gone continuous here. I wake up in the morning earlier than my wife, and I go in and turn on the heater, and then I read for a while and post some stuff, and then the thrill. I was thrilled to see you and Kevin again. That leaves a lingering taste, like some meals leave a lingering sweetness in your mouth. And this will have that aftertaste of and headiness of wine, which I don't drink anymore.
No, but I know
So,
what you mean. I know what you mean.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, it's high. You're just high all the time.
Mhm.
But it's nicer than high.
It
It's
is. It is
yeah.
nicer than and it feels like, I don't know, I'm like, feels like the biggest secret that's not really a secret, but people don't get it. You know what I mean?
I
It's like,
know.
and
Yeah.
but then I'm like, you walk around and you're like, how can you not be like just I mean, feel like I walk around, I'm probably not really doing this, but like I'm just smiling because I'm like, it's just so amazing. And I'm like, how can other people not get this? But it's the biggest secret hidden in plain sight.
Truly, the open secret.
Mm-hmm.
When we were walking through Costco a couple years ago, and I looked at my wife and I said, "Why is everyone smiling at me?" She said, "Well, you're smiling at them." I said, "Am I?"
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know it, but I'm looking, and each one gets my attention. I'll see a father with a baby, and it amazes me. I didn't have good parents at all. If I see a father holding a son's hand, or if I saw a father talking to two little boys at a restaurant one time, and I was amazed. He was actually listening to him,
Mm-hmm.
and he was talking to him.
Mm-hmm. Like
And
they
I
really
thought,
were people.
oh my God.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, isn't that so lovely? I see fathers kissing babies,
Mm-hmm.
holding them up, looking at them and kissing them and kissing them.
Yeah.
Ah, it's so beautiful.
It is.
Oh, oh, I love you, Kim.
I love you too.
I think we've covered the gamut today.
I think so.
Oh,
I
you
I have to
love
go clean my house after this, so I don't have
house.
to. I get to.
I detected a little bit of a foreign accent in there. The house. A point.
Oh, I'm from Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota. That's
Yeah.
what it
Let me
was.
say this for you.
Oh, yo,
I'm
yeah.
gonna go out about in my boat.
Out about my boat. Yeah. Um,
Yes,
that's what it
I've
was.
got that long O.
It-
Hmm. It's
it's
like
still
it's
there.
borderline Canadian. Hmm.
Yeah. Um,
Yes, I'm Swedish from Minnesota.
I was thinking it's not Ohio,
Mm-mm.
but the host
The house.
thought,
I go
okay,
clean the
yeah,
house.
it's
And
partly
I say
Canada.
roof, not roof. I think I
I
say
say
roof.
I say roof.
No, I say roof.
Rough. Okay. I
Yeah.
say wash. Wash.
Oh no, we don't say wash, but in
Wash.
Iowa they do. We say wash, but it's more the O
Ah,
sounds like that
ah.
out about in a boat.
A
It sounds
boat
like
and a
it's saying
boat.
this out about in a boat.
Oh, I can
Out in a
pick up
boat.
Wyoming accent from across the room. I don't speak Wyomingian anymore. I used to say I'm bilingual, uh,
Right,
but I can pick it up.
right.
There was a young bronc rider on TV, and the lady was asking, he said, "What goes through your mind before you get on the horse?" He didn't understand her. He said, "Well, what do you think about?" He said, "Getting them rode." And I thought, oh, I know that language.
Yes.
Getting them rode.
Yeah. Ah,
Oh, this has been
it's all
delightful.
wonderful. It's all
Uh,
wonderful.
it's all wonderful.
Yes, I'm sending you air hugs.
Your air hugs are. Next time I see you, your hair will be down to your waist.
Well, maybe we'll see. I tomorrow I may get in the car and go get it cut, but I'm not feeling that. But who knows? They will be what it brings. That's usually what happens. One day I'm fine with the hair, and the next day I'm getting it cut, and I'm always like,
Oh,
oh, "This is interesting." It's getting cut.
yeah, yeah. I had hair that long when we lived in Big Bear, and I had a long Jim Croce mustache,
I
black.
saw the picture. You looked amazing.
Yeah, oh, you sweetheart.
Yes,
Uh, it was
you looked like a dude
a dude.
and like
Yeah.
someone fun to hang out with.
Oh, you know what? We played in the snow, and I pulled the kids behind the pickup with skis, and we go ripping around corners. I made a snowplow, and they'd sit on a snowplow, and we'd go tearing through the neighborhood.
So
Dangerous
much
as hell.
fun.
I wouldn't do it anymore.
Oh, I know. With that, I grew up like that too.
Yeah,
Dangerous
riding,
things, and
riding
fun.
in the back of the pickup on the
Well,
freeway.
riding in the back, but like no seat belts and
Oh
just
yeah,
crazy, and yeah.
yeah,
We lit.
yeah.
I don't know how we survived, frankly, but here we
No, I
are.
don't either. I don't
Yeah,
either. Yeah,
yeah,
but we did. Thank.
yes, yeah. Here we are to tell the tale, which is
Yeah,
exactly what it is.
a tail.
A
Yeah,
tale. Yeah,
dragging our tail.
exactly behind us.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Hey, kiddo. I hope this is, I don't know how long it's been since you've been here, but it seems like forever.
I think it was like 2016, so it's been a
Oh
while.
my, oh my.
Mhm.
I hope we get to see each other again
Yeah, I
before.
hope so too. I ended up at one point living up on a mountain up in Lake County, on a mountain a mile high. There
Oh
was little
my.
houses up there looking over Clear Lake. Do you know Clear
Oh,
Lake? It's giant.
yeah,
And there was a man remodeling the house next door, and he and I still stay in touch. And he's one of those people I fell in love with, and he fell in love with me. And he's got
yeah.
a lovely wife, and it he happened to call me when I was at my sister's a couple weeks ago and said, "You got to come up. I told you when you left. I've got a bedroom here. If you want to come and stay, you're welcome."
Oh
And he
my.
means it.
Of
And
course.
so if we come, we'll be going through your territory.
Oh,
So
that
I
would be
told Kevin
lovely.
we should go check it out up there because I wouldn't mind living there.
Oh, you love,
We
yeah.
probably have to leave California because of the cost. So we're probably going to be leaving in the next year or two.
It's expensive. Yeah.
It is. But
Gas. Yeah.
yeah, but Jeff is up on that mountain. I loved it. I would wake up and I'd be like, oh, it's sunny up here, but then there'd be we'd be above the clouds. I'm like,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
it's
Of course.
cloudy for those people.
Check out the Rocky Mountains.
That is a place we're worth considering. If you have any little suggestions of I don't want
Uh,
to be in probably a huge town, I don't think.
oh, I would Google it. It's everything is
Yeah,
changing so much. Jackson Hole is, of course, unaffordable now.
right,
Um, but when I was there, it wasn't. It was
right.
a rough and tumble country. Um,
Yeah, I have a friend in Boulder, and
uh,
I'll ask her what's around little towns around
what
there.
towns around? Oh,
Yeah,
there's lots of them. Idaho, Utah. Um, yeah, it's a Rocky Mountains are exquisite. Montana.
yeah, I
Um,
like the mountains. I really do.
it's beautiful.
Yeah,
Love you, kiddo.
I love you, and we'll stop. We'll for sure be stopping to see. Oh, right, we did have lunch that time though when you surprised me. That was
Uh,
another Kevin surprise for my birthday.
what a sweetheart.
I know. I had just said to him, we were having lunch at that little restaurant. I said, well, I don't think we should be in Cambridge without seeing Michael Markham. And you popped around the corner.
Oh,
That was another perfect
yeah,
thing.
yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh, yeah. That was a wonderful day. Somebody
Yeah.
else was there, weren't they? Was there somebody?
No, That
No.
time it was just me and Kevin, but when I met you, Patsy and Damon and William were there with you.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my God, yes, that's right.
yeah,
Damon still is on the page, and Patsy is occasionally.
yeah.
She,
She
she
unfriended me. I don't know why.
uh,
I
I think she just did a bunch of people. I don't know. I don't know why, but
I
she's
don't know
still a
either.
friend. She has a grandchild, a beautiful boy. Now this is probably 5 or 6. Happy with her family and her tea shop as far as I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
She checks in once a year or so. But
Oh, that's good.
that was Damon is that when we saw the plumber across the street?
No, I don't think so. I
Okay.
don't think so.
One time, plumber, he has died since, but plumber has a great big plumbing truck, and he's a great big guy, probably 6'4", um, 250, 260 pounds. And he drove up across the street when Damon was there. I said, Damon, that's the town bully over there. The plumber and I were good friends. We
Uh-huh.
loved each other. And I said, Damon, that's the town bully over there. I've always wanted to confront him. Would you back me up? So
You're a
he said,
rabble rouser.
oh God, I love it. So he says, yeah. So I walk over, he's about 10 feet behind me. And I see Jeff get out of the car and I flip him off. And so he flips me off. And then I double flip him off.
Right.
And so he's looking mean at me. And he starts walking towards me. And I turn around to see if Damon is taken off. And he's about my size. So no, he's getting closer to me.
Oh.
Yeah, he's backing me
Mm-hmm.
up.
Mm-hmm.
Serious as he can be.
Oh.
I know. I love him. He writes me love notes all the time, and I do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And so we got close to each other, and I'm staring the plumber down, looking up. He's staring me down. And I reach out and I put my arms around him, and he puts his arms around me and picks me up. And I turned to look at Damon, and he didn't know what to do. He was so beautiful. And then he comes up and hugs us. It was one of the most beautiful moments
Mm,
of my life.
yeah.
Oh my God. I've missed moments like that. One of the things I forgot the most, I was in Montana with a friend. We were visiting my college roommate who was dying of ALS. On our way back home, we stopped in a little bar. He had to go to the restroom and he didn't want to go in there because he said there's just cowboys in there and I don't want to go in there. I said, that's all right. I'll go in with you. There are 3 rowdy looking guys at the bar, and they turned around and looked at us and then went back to drinking. And I wish I would have said, hey, you guys, this guy's from California and I'm not. I'm from here. And when he comes out, I'm going to say something like, how you girls doing? And I, I want to see if he's going to head for the door, but I didn't do it. I missed
Right.
the chance. So
No, you didn't do it. It wasn't supposed to happen,
no,
but
it was supposed to happen.
it was.
It was,
In an
damn it.
in a parallel universe, it happened.
Yeah.
I think
Oh
about that all the
God.
time too. I'm like,
Yeah.
they say that that's real. I'm like, oh, you can't screw up. I'm like, the other Kim might be doing exactly, what I thought I should have been doing. So go
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see him run for the door. And then I'd have it over him. Oh my God. That's a guy thing. I don't think girls do
Yes.
like that.
No, we don't
Yeah,
try. We don't. We're. Mm-mm.
Kevin would understand it.
Yeah, yeah. Kevin would definitely. Oh my God. Kevin is like living with the he drives me crazy. He likes to just like push my buttons until
Yeah. Yeah.
until I'm like ready to lose it. And then he laughs and laughs
Laughs, laughs,
and
laughs, laughs.
laughs. Yes,
Yeah.
that's how so I bring him pleasure in that way. And he knows now
Oh
I give him the
God.
look like
Yeah.
Kevin,
Yeah.
really.
Women, only women have that look.
And
And
he's now
actually,
he says
Cheryl.
he's afraid of me. And I'm like, well, that is your own fault. You've
He's
done
afraid of
this.
you. Men are afraid of women. I don't
Yeah.
care what people say. That look is enough to do it. Just
Yeah,
that.
he knows the look. And then you know what he says, Michael? When it gets to that point when I'm just like, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I love you so much.
I
I love
love
you
you so
so
much.
much."
That's because he's frightened.
Yes.
When you did your look, that scared me a little. Honest to God, it's a guy thing. It's a wonderful weapon. And women don't. use as much as they can.
Yeah,
I don't,
just
men
give them a
can't do
look
it.
like, really?
Yeah, yeah. Men don't roll their eyes either.
No,
It's a
I told Kevin the other day, I'm like, if I had a dollar shoot out of my head every time I rolled my eyes with you, I'd be a wealthy woman. Now I'm saying to him, yeah, I just made $15. I
yeah,
just shot
yeah.
out my head.
I told my daughters there was an operation where you could get that would you fix these little muscles up where you couldn't roll your eyes. As teenage daughters, it's just a constant dad.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
God. But men have a different language. When they see each other, they'll nod their head like,
Hmm.
"Okay, you okay? It's good."
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think women nod their head at each other. Um, if they do this, if they look up, that's a bad sign.
Yes.
That's a
Yes.
challenge.
Hmm.
So, but this thing will
Yeah.
calm almost
Mhm.
everybody, except psychotics. Oh my God, this has been fun.
Yes, very. Okay.
I will
Well, until
talk
we
to you
meet again.
until we meet again.
Yes, I'm not going to say goodbye, just until
Oh,
we
no,
meet
no.
again.
Aloha.
Okay, aloha. Hey,
Uh,
are you going to use this for anything, this recording?
would you mind if I posted it?
Just don't use my full name. Just put Kim.
Okay. I
That
will.
work?
I won't post it. I don't have to because it
Okay.
was up as Kim Plum. Yeah, I'll just keep it myself.
Okay. Yeah. If I change my mind, I'll let you
No,
know.
no
But
worries. No worries. It's no worries.
okay.
It'll just be mine.
Well, send me a copy though. Okay. Can you do
I
that?
will. I
Okay.
will.
Yes, that'll be
It'll
awesome.
it'll take a while to download and all
Yeah,
that
yeah,
stuff.
whenever.
I'll
And then
send
I'll have you in my pocket.
my pocket. My pocket. They got it in a fight over pockets. Okay, kiddo.
Okay, enjoy the rest of your day.
When you hear the bell, come out swinging.
Yes, absolutely. All right.
And just
Bye-bye.
try to hold on for 8 seconds.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay. All right.
That's bronc riding. Bye bye,
Okay. Until we meet again.
until we meet again.